What is going on, everyone? I'm back here again with another meme shelf video, and this is episode 16. That's right, I put out 16 of these over the years, and man, I've been enjoying a lot of these, making these over the years, regardless if they gotten views or not. I've enjoyed making them, you know, and man, before I begin, I just like to reminisce on some of the older ones I made on people like Tourette's guy,
and it made me feel like a piece of shit!
Sweet Brown,
Ain't nobody got time for that.
the Slim Jesus.
I f with savages, you a f boy, you can't hang. You can find me posted up on Frank Block with my fucking gang.
So there's just so many that I made videos on and have enjoyed making videos on, as you know, reminiscing on some great memes that have come over the years, you know, dating back to like the early 2000s, even like some of the ones I just mentioned. You know, I just really enjoyed making this series, and you know, will there be an end to it, and when? I don't know to either of those questions. I mean, there will probably be an end to it eventually, you know, of course. Once I'm old and gone, obviously, there won't be a thing anymore, but, you know, no shit as of that, obviously, but, you know. But, yeah, you know, there's no telling when the series will end or anything, you know. It's just, you know, when something comes to mind for me, I decided to make a video on it. You know, especially a lot of these old memes I grew up with as a kid and everything from, like, you know, the late 2000s to like 2016, 2018, like even some ones that are somewhat newer I've covered. You know, this one in particular here is a pretty classic one. This one started out in like the late 2000s when YouTube was first popping off and everything. YouTube started in 2006, but you know, around 2008, 2009 it was really starting to pop off with a lot of viral videos. You know, the viral video thing was really becoming a thing during these days with YouTube. You know, there were so many viral videos around this time that were circling all across the internet. Because, of course, like I said, this was the time when, you know, viral videos on YouTube were really first starting to pop off. You know, early 2010s, they were really popular too. And still kind of are, but, like, during this time, there were so many viral videos that were really popping off on YouTube. They were getting, like, millions of views during the time. And one of these videos was the Greatest Freakout Ever by Wafflepwn. Now, this one was first uploaded on May 3rd, 2009, and it was of this kid who had just gotten his World of Warcraft account canceled by his mom, and his brother's filming and everything, basically laughing his ass off that, you know, he's freaking out and everything and got his account canceled. And, you know, he sets up the camera and then storms out of the room. Then his brother comes running into the room and doing all sorts of weird things, screaming and freaking out. He goes into a closet and then comes back out and shoves a remote up his butt and everything and just starts like looking like the Exorcist, just screaming on his bed and everything, and it's just honestly so hilarious, even still to this day. And believe it or not, the series is actually still running. They only upload around, I think, like once every few months maybe or so, or once a year if that, but the series still runs, and, you know, they still upload a few videos from time to time, again, of these greatest freakouts ever, because there's like 50 of them, I think, or so at this point. And there's a lot of them that have gotten millions of views, especially the first one, but, you know, there's a lot of them that have gotten, like, millions and millions of views. And in these videos, you know, Steven's freaking out about all sorts of weird things. He's the kid that was freaking out, by the way. His brother's name is Jack, that's filming typically. But, you know, in a lot of these videos, Steven's freaking out about all sorts of different stuff, like from the microwave not working, cooking his food like he wants it to.
I want my freaking turkey breast with freaking gravy, and
to his brother antagonizing him while he's playing guitar very badly.
shut up! My God, you have no freaking life!
To him freaking out because someone keeps betraying him in a video game.
Stop freaking betraying me! I'm on your team!
Just so many different things he freaks out about, and it is honestly so hilarious. I can't even speak trying to watch a lot of these videos even still to this day. And honestly, I have a lot of great memories watching this with my siblings and friends back in school, just laughing our asses off at this kid who's just honestly freaking out in some of the funniest ways I've ever seen. Like, he literally reminds me of that one kid you hear, like, screeching from the other side of the school at someone just having an absolute meltdown, to the point where the principal just came running to stop the whole situation because he could hear it all the way from his office with the door closed. Literally, that's who this kid reminds me of, and it's honestly so funny. And to this day, you know, now that they're all grown up and everything, you know, I still laugh at some of the new videos they post from time to time. It's been a while since I've checked them out until recently again, and I'm like, I gotta do a video on these guys, but, you know, I still watch them from time to time, you know, when they upload. You know, when they do, usually around once a month or maybe once a year, if that sometimes. So, you know, I don't really pop in too often, too much anymore. But recently I've kind of been rewatching a lot of these videos, and I've been laughing my ass off at them and reminiscing on the good times I've had watching these videos because, man, there's so many great memories I have watching Wafflepwn back in the day. And a lot of people were questioning, you know, whether these videos were actually like real or not. Was this kid actually freaking out for real, or was this just an act or something? And there was actually a radio show that his mom had went on one time where she had talked about this whole thing.
Yeah, I'm fine. Alright. My friends at school, they all know it's fake, so I don't care.
And honestly, it figured so, because, you know, it was odd that the camera was always on at, like, the perfect times, you know what I mean? But I guess some people could kind of question, you know, is this whole thing real? Because, you know, he seems to freak out in a lot of these videos quite a bit over, you know, silly things, but, you know, of course it ended up being fake and everything. It was fake the whole time, you know, of course, and there was this and many other, you know, instances where they kind of talk about this whole thing, and, you know, it was mainly for, you know, comedy and everything, which either way, like, it's still hilarious, though. I'm kind of glad it's fake, honestly, because, you know, if he was actually like this, I don't know how he'd actually function in the real world, but, like, you know, it's still hilarious either way. Though, like, I'm not disappointed at all that, you know, this whole thing's fake, because it's hilarious either way to watch, and I still find it just as funny, even if it's, you know, an act and everything. And Wafflepwn was even on a Tosh.0 episode that I actually just watched for the first time. I never knew that he was on Tosh.0 till recently until I looked it up and everything, and then I found it out and I just watched this episode, and I won't spoil it too much or anything, you know, I'll let you guys watch it for yourself, but it's quite interesting to say the least. I'll just say that this entire time he looks as usual, like pissed off and everything. He doesn't like freak out or anything. I mean, I won't spoil too much of what happens, but he just has like the same kind of like pissed off face the entire time like he does in a lot of the videos, and it's just so funny. And, you know, there were many other people he collaborated with too as well, excuse me. Like McJuggernuggets, he did one or two videos with him, I believe, which were honestly so funny as well. This wasn't until I think 6 years ago or so, where, you know, McJuggernuggets comes in and he's thinks the whole thing's staged, but I mean it's staged still, of course, but, like, you know, it was a video he did where he thinks the whole thing's staged, but then it turns out not to be. Of course it is staged either way, though. This was just for a video that he did this for, but he ends up freaking out. He's like, no, you're just coming here to hate on me and all this stuff, and just has a total meltdown at the family dinner and everything, and screeches so loud that it just frightens everyone. And they had KFC and everything, and Steven's like, oh yeah, you're not even eating any of this food my family made for you, even though it's literally from KFC, and it's just so funny. I definitely recommend watching this one, because I laughed my ass off watching this the first time. And honestly, I'm glad the series has continued as long as it has, because, you know, Wafflepwn's definitely got a dedicated fan base for sure that still watches to this day and still finds it funny. You know, me, myself, I've been watching, like, ever since I was, like, 12 or 13, and still watch from time to time again to this day. So I'm glad this thing's run for as long as it has and continues to, because honestly, the new videos are funny as hell, too, watching a lot of them. And they do live streams now as well. I'm not sure when the last time they did a live stream was, but they do live streams from time to time, you know, so definitely tune into those and everything. And that is the whole story on Wafflepwn. If you're looking into old memes or just a history of memes in general, you know, from the past, like the ones I've shown at the beginning of this video, check out more videos in this series. And yeah, I will see you guys later. Peace out.